Welcome to a very different falconry advice video. This one is going to be a quiz, and it's a good way of testing your own knowledge on birds of prey and falconry and see where you're at. And I'd love you to play along and comment below with your score. So I'm going to ask you 10 questions. All of them are multiple choice, and I'm going to give you about 10 seconds after each one to have a think of what the answer might be. It's going to cover things to do with falconry directly and also birds of prey in general, because a good falconer also knows a lot about birds of prey, how they survive in the wild and things like that. So let's begin then. Question number 1. Where is the cere located on a bird of prey? A, above the ankles, B, above the beak, or C, in the centre of the back? And the answer is B, above the beak. So the cere is a soft part of the bird's nose, if you like, just above the beak and just below the eyes there. And it's usually a light colour, usually yellow. And it's believed that it helps with the senses, the smell, in fact, of the bird, and it can help protect the nostrils as well. And with falconry husbandry, it's important to protect the cere because it is a more delicate part of the bird's anatomy. Question number 2. The term used for fixing an overgrown beak is called A, coping, B, filing, or C, shaping. And the answer is A, coping. Coping the beak is something that all falconers will have to do at some point with their bird. Talons aren't usually a problem. You don't normally have to do anything with those, but the beak will naturally overgrow, especially when you're feeding your bird a lovely healthy diet and a lot of soft mice and chicks, so it isn't going to have something to break it down naturally like a bird in the wild would. So you'd use pliers and metal filing tools. I've seen falconers using electric tools as well, very small micro ones. So it's a case of trimming down the beak when it's become a bit too long and filing it down to a nice sort of point, a nice little shape, and essentially monitoring it, doing it correctly. And there are videos that I've done out there and others on how to do this properly. Question number 3. What is the smallest type of owl called? Is it A, the pygmy owl, B, the elf owl, or C, the little owl? Well, all of those species of owl are very small, but the smallest is in fact B, the elf owl, weighing as little as 30 grams. It's native to South America and it feeds mostly on insects. When it comes to owls, in falconry, they're not great for hunting, but they are great as a companion bird and something to fly free for recreational purposes. However, these really small owls are much harder to fly free, and in my opinion, they're better off kept at a nice healthy fat weight rather than having them at flying weight, which is going to be riskier for their health because the smaller they are, the harder it is to keep their flying weight accurate. Question number 4. In the UK, do you require a licence to keep a bird of prey? Is it A, no, B, yes, or C, only for endangered species? And the correct answer is A, no. There is no such licence required just to keep a bird of prey in the UK, and this is the same in most European countries in fact. And it doesn't matter whether a bird is classed as an endangered species or something that there's an abundance of. So for example, we have a Harris hawk that's native to South America and Central America, but they are not an endangered species. We also have our Steppes eagle, which is an endangered species, and of course those rules or those classifications on least threatened, endangered, etc. do change quite a bit all the time, so it'd be very hard to have a licence based on that. Now, we do have a license to do the mobile operations that we do with Owl Adventures, and it's called an AAL, stands for an Animal Activities License, and if the premises here was open to the public more than 7 days a year, it would require a zoo license, which of course it isn't a zoo, so we don't have a zoo license. It's not open to the public. Question number 5. Which of the following names is commonly used for a male falcon? Is it A, a drake, B, a TSL, or C, a stallion? The answer is B, a TSL. You'll often see for sale things like a TSL peregrine in the title of the advert, which essentially means it's a male falcon, and that's specifically saying it's quite a small falcon. So we have a TSL peregrine who weighs in just over a pound, and he isn't the biggest falcon in the world by a long stretch, and that's largely because he is a male. The females are much bigger. Of course, the other answers there relate to ducks and horses, so it's definitely B, TSL. Number 6. Parabutiu internixis is the scientific name for which bird of prey? A, the golden eagle, B, a saker falcon, or C, the Harris hawk? And the answer is C, the Harris hawk. When it comes to these words, they're put together by different meanings. So para means like, beautiful means buzzard, and synchronous is the white tip on the tail feathers of the Harris hawk. Question number 7. What is a diurnal animal? Is it A, an animal that is awake and active mostly at night, B, an animal that's active and mostly awake during dusk and dawn, or C, an animal that's naturally awake and active during the day? And the answer is C, an animal awake during the day. When it comes to birds of prey, all raptors, that's the falcons, hawks, kestrels, etc., are a daytime species. They are diurnal. There is no night raptor, as it were, no hawk that hunts at night like many owls do. Not all owls are nocturnal, but many of them are nocturnal or crepuscular, which is the term for dusk and dawn, so it's quite clear the difference. Owls, bit of a mix, but with other birds of prey, they are all daytime species, which are known as diurnal. Question number 8. Which of these cleaning products are not safe to use with birds of prey? A, FAM 30, B, J's fluid, or C, F10? And the answer is B, J's fluid. Now, this is a product that I've never used and didn't even hear of until I did my Raptor Award, and it was part of the training of that course that we must not use J's fluid, which is actually quite a well-known outdoor cleaning solution in bird of prey aviaries and in areas where you keep your birds, because it is not considered safe for birds and various other animals, despite what the labelling says. Whereas the other two items on there, F10, very commonly used for birds of prey, and FAM 30, which is a farm product which I use when I clean my aviaries out. We do thoroughly rinse it off, but it is considered safe for larger animals. And if there are any falconers out there using anything other than FAM 30, but something of that nature, an iodine-based solution, please comment below, let me know what it is, because we all have maybe our own solutions we want to use, which is absolutely fine as long as they are genuinely safe for animals, unlike J's fluid. Question number 9. The term longwing is a name given to which type of raptor? Is it A, buzzard, B, falcon, or C, a hawk? Well, the answer is B, a falcon. The term long wing quite literally describes the long pointed wings that a falcon has, which they use for speed. Falcons compared body size to other birds of prey are quite small, they're quite streamlined, they're like little jets or little sports cars if you like, because falcons will almost only catch birds in the air or on the wing as it's known, and they use speed to do this. The other terms are short wings and broad wings, which cover a range of different hawks, buzzards and eagles and basically other birds of prey. There's over 200 species of broadwing, for example. And finally, question number 10. What is the name given to a safety line when training a raptor? A H-line, B, a soren, or C, a crayons? And the answer is C, a crayons. Now this can be simply a long piece of string, it could be a lure line, or it could be any kind of line they're attached to your bird of prey when you're flying it to and from a perch as a training technique, if you like, a safety line, and also as a test before you fly it perhaps in a new location. So when we get a new bird of prey, we will train it perhaps in an aviary first, flying it to the glove, and then when we go outside to a location, we'll in the early days attach a crayons to it and let it fly to the glove with that line on just in case. If it obviously tries to fly up to a tree, that's not the end of the world if it comes back down, but if it looks like it's distracted or spooked, then at least that safety line has given us that last chance to not lose the bird before we're flying it free properly, and that's kind of the purpose. I do not recommend overusing a crayons line. I've said this before in videos. If you're training a bird and you're using a crayons quite a lot, if you're not quite confident enough and you're keeping on that line maybe a bit too long, the moment it does try and go up a tree or explore in some way, that crayons will stop it from flying, bring it down to the ground, and that can have a disadvantage on the training that you're trying to give. So I say, in my opinion, crayons are great, but use them to a minimum. So how did you do? What's your score out of 10? Please let me know below, and let me know if you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, I'll produce more videos of this very style. Thanks for watching.